Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Sahil and I'm a real estate consultant, and this is episode 5 of Middle Class Wealth series. So, when I say commercial real estate is destroying wealth of middle class people, I'll be covering this in today's video and going in a little depth and explaining you what kind of commercial properties I'm talking about and exactly the reason why they are not good for middle class or particularly you. So, before starting, I do already have 5 videos on my channel. The series is Middle Class Wealth Destroyer. If you are coming first time here, please do check them out. And if you find them informative, you're liking them, do comment loving it. So let's start. So when I talk about real estate, commercial real estate, I mean particularly four types of properties. One is your office spaces. Second is a retail shop, small retail shop. So uh, let's define it a little more. A retail shop which is around a residential area, and a retail shop which is inside a residential area, and it has the most, it can attract the people of that residential area. So these are two different types of shops. And fourth I define is a grade A mall, a shop or a showroom in a mall. I'll explain more about the grade A, grade B, different type of things. Okay, so let's talk about office spaces. So the reason I'm so against commercial is that it doesn't work for the middle class. It's meant to destroy your wealth. It's meant to keep you poor and not able to actually leverage, actually make something out of real estate, some wealth out of real estate. So commercial real estate works, particularly not commercial, sorry about that. Office spaces, commercial office spaces works, but the office spaces which works are not for you, so you cannot own them. What do I mean is, so if a office space is small, I mean generally office space are huge, and they are particularly a lot of expensive, so they're not available for everyone to own. So generally they are managed by a particular firm who develops them, and they market it, sell it, not sell it, lease it, and do all those kind of things. So those kinds of office spaces do works. So the number one example would be DLF Cyber Hub. So it's owned by DLF and controlled by DLF and maintained, and everything is done by DLF only. So there is no scope of a particular middle class or someone going there and investing in it, because it's not for sale. That's why it works. Because when you go for office space, you need a lot of things in it. So you need security, so you have a lot of security guard, you have a nice feel to it. Office generally don't want to be, some in a damn place where you cannot commute. It should be in a well maintained area, so the beautification of an office space is required. Cleanliness needs to be done, maintenance, security, a lot of in-house, in office things are required, which are, I mean, staff for particular, uh, washing, maintaining the particular office the company is renting. So a lot of staff is also required, which is also provided by these kind of management firms only. So they do provide them on contract basis. Okay, so these kind of things are required for a particular office to sustain, and that's how they are actually leased out. So a 5 year, 10 years lease is signed basis of this possibilities, that these, office, the particular company that owns that building provides these extra services. That's why these things actually works. So if some, like, the only place in country where they are not available is Mumbai. So any office space are generally owned by investors only in Mumbai. But owning an office space in Mumbai is like, then you're not in middle class, you're not someone, like owning a residential place in Mumbai, in a top Mumbai place, Matlab, top area of Mumbai is extremely expensive. And if you can own an office space like 1,000 square feet and 5,000 square feet, somewhat between office space, then you're not a particular middle class person, and you shouldn't be like thinking of investing in that sense, because that, if it doesn't work, it might ruin you. Okay, so big cities like Bangalore, either it's Pune, it's the Gurgaon, the office spaces works, but because they are owned by the companies, the you know the people who built it, owned by them and maintained by them, that's the only reason it works. That's why no office spaces for you. If okay, one example, if you somehow own an office space, now assume how will you attract a particular company to open their office in that particular space. Your competition is with DLF Cyber Hub, Capital Lands, big companies like who owns actually these kind of real estate. How will you compete with them? Because they have their sales team, legal team, maintenance team, a lot of people are there to make it happen. How will you make that happen? Just assume, how will you attract a company to sign a 5 years or 10-year lease? How will you do it? If you have the resources, then maybe, but if you don't, then it's not worth it. It's not gonna generate you wealth. Okay. Second is retail shops. So there are two types of retail shops, which is generally in a crowded space. I mean, a lot of retail shops are there, and it's, couple of steps. I mean, 2 to 3 stairs are there, and you, it's open. Actually, it's open. It's visible from road. Couple of steps from road, and you enter an area where all the shops are there. It's open, accessible by all. These kind of retail shops generally are below a residential or commercial building, which 2 to 3 floors are for commercial use and upper is for residential or somewhat hotel kind of thing. Okay, so now let's understand why it doesn't actually work. That particular retail large retail shop doesn't actually work because gentry is not constant there. So if a person business is there, so the capacity of your business attracting the customer is the only thing which will bring a lot of people to there. Generally people don't come to hang out there because they will prefer to go to a grade A model to hang out. If you open a shop, something which attracts the people, then the only reason the people are going to come there. So it generally depends on what kind of business is there. And these kind of shops come every 5 years, every 6 years. They are constantly in development, and every 5 years is the maximum. I'm taking the time frame. It generally comes in every 2 years, 3 years. A new area is developed, new shop is there, and people are generally going there. So if you're someone who has invested in a shop like that, it might work for a couple of years, but that's it. That's the best you're gonna get. And rental yield is not generated there. That's not how you get that extraordinary rental yield which is promised in real estate by a lot of people, developer and all that. That's not you get from there. Okay. Now third is the retail shops which are in a fixed environment. Fixed environment means in a residential project. So you have a township, or not a township, a big decent project which have 8, 10, 12 towers, and center of that area is developed as a commercial which has couple of shops which cater only to the resident of that particular shop society. Sorry. Okay, so no extra footfall can be imagined there because the society is a gated society and not everyone is allowed to enter. Some reasoning is there, so not a lot of footfall is going to be there, and the business who actually opens in that area are there to cater the needs of the particular society resident. So it can be a milk shop, vegetable shop, barber, a small kirana store. These kind of shops generally opens there, and they don't provide you rental yield. I mean, you might be investing 50, 60, 70 lakhs in that, and might not be getting 10, 15, 20,000 rent. If you if you're still getting it, but that's not how the way it should be. That's not how you should be investing in it. It's better to have a flat in that society and rent it out. That will give you better returns in a longer period of time. So going into a real estate, especially in commercial real estate, you have to see how long that thing going to be valid. That's the reason that's the main reason I'm against of commercial real estate, because in the longer run it doesn't work. That's the bigger point. So I'll be covering these three in this video. In the next episode, I'll be covering the fourth, grade A malls and B malls, and I'll be telling you the concept of ghost malls. It's going to be a very interesting topic, and I have prepared very beautiful 2 to 3 case studies for you to understand how wealth have been actually destroyed in India because of these ghost malls, where extraordinary returns were promised. People were, given a lot of hopes and things, and people invested a lot of money into it. I mean, you cannot even imagine the number that big of amount is being lost, and people cannot even complain about it. That's the sad part of it. People cannot protest. People cannot go anywhere. People cannot even cry in front of anyone because they might be considered as a fool. So they have just bottled down their pain into their hearts and going forward with their lives. That kind of money has been lost. So that's it for this video, and see you next time.